Okay, let's finish this off with a discussion on Nostr, because this is another component. It's kind of like an experimental thing you guys launched, but I want to give it some attention as well. Can you talk about, so you have this paid relay where you can subscribe and pay sats
Yeah.
on, I believe, a monthly basis. How does that subscription actually work behind the scenes?
Yeah. So um, it's so basically the relay itself obviously registers every public key that wants to sort of interact with it. So every user on Nostr has a public key, and that's how they identifier. And it basically just keeps track of how long someone is connected, and there's like every n weeks or whatever n period, it will basically just send that wallet a an invoice through a Nostr direct message. Because we have the public key, we can directly speak to the user. So the user will see every month a message from Kollider, actually a little bit before the end of the month, with an invoice. They can just pay in their direct messages. Otherwise, they will basically be
Hmm.
kicked off the relay, and that's pretty much it. It's super simple, but yeah, it works.
Yeah, it's an
I guess
interesting way of doing subscriptions.
yeah, I mean, it would be nicer if there's a way to automatically pay it. So there's some sort of way to have a white label payments, like a direct debit on. I'm not sure whether you have that in the US or Canada, but like basically just making sure these payments come almost through. But yeah, right now we're kind of constrained to what's possible, and the simplest way was just send a message with the invoice, and if they pay it, basically the interval gets renewed by 1 month. Otherwise, the address gets kicked off the relay, and that's pretty much it.
Very cool. Now, in the last couple of months, so I believe you launched this. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was in February or maybe March, and you've had it up now for a few months. And I'd love to hear your perspective on things that you've learned about Nostr in that time span. Like, have your views on Nostr changed? Are you impressed or concerned about the opportunities for earning revenue on Nostr? Would love just your lay of the land over the last 2 or 3 months, and how has that evolved over time?
Yeah, I think we start off super optimistic, like wow, um new protocol which is super simple, it makes sense, backed by Jack Dorsey, um and getting a lot of hype from the Bitcoin community, which we were super excited about. And then obviously, if you're following the stats, um, on that Nostr Explorer, you'll see like the user numbers were like insane, like in a very short amount of time. It's like, yes, that might be actually a feasible business model for us. That's why we started looking into building something like a paid relay. Um, but I think what sort of like what sort of trickled through then in the end, or now, is that it's very first of all, the user the user activity has dropped dramatically in the last month or two. So I think we were like at one point at like 1.5 million or something, but now we're down to like 200 or something, 200K. Um, is that it's pretty much a lot of the same people in that on Nostr. I mean, we have obviously like famous people come in, every now and again, join Nostr, but like the ecosystem within, it's very similar to the one in just generally like the early adopters, Bitcoin people, and so on. So I think it kind of still needed to sort of catch on to, I guess, people from outside this whole ecosystem. I think that's sort of like that's not what we saw. It was sort of an echo chamber a little bit, and which sort of made us realize that it will probably happen, but like not as pace as we think, because it was just a lot of hype at the beginning, and it sort of died down. But I think the all the application has been built, like how it started out with like these all these clients being like super bad in terms of like user experience. They were laggy, they weren't really working, and we have come a long way. So I'm actually impressed with all the developer work that goes on in there. But I think it it basically started off really really sort of hyped up, but then sort of like hit a wall a little bit, and it died down. And I think now we are sort of looking at the reality of it. And I think to actually make sort of or run a profitable Nostr relay, you are, you probably, it probably will take some time for this to actually, happen. But then again, like we're not a super like expert on Nostr, because it's just was a side project. But obviously we've seen sort of our subscriptions going up at the beginning, but then sort of like hit a wall in a way. So, and yeah, I mean, it's just I guess anecdotally what we see, but I think ultimately it'll become a way of generating a decent revenue, because building like good relays, that's what we realized, is really hard, because spam filtering is not easy, and curating content is also not very easy. So I think people will pay quite a bit of money to get these extra services.